So Aït-Nouri's got this red. All I'm thinking is this is just the perfect opportunity to get rid of him. And the best replacement option that I can think of is probably going to have to be.
I just can't see a world in which Cunha does not get suspended this week. So we really do need to start having a look at some strikers to replace him. Now, obviously, if you can afford Isak, then he is the guy to go for. But actually, if you can go for someone else, I'd maybe have a look at
Haaland.
No.
Captain's another tricky one this week. Who are you going to end up going for?
I don't know. I think I'm between 3 players primarily, but it's going to come down to both fixtures and data, which is quite interesting this week. Hello, and welcome to the Gameweek 17 episode of the Stick to FPL podcast. We are back once again to talk about a new game week with me, Dan, FPL Mates, and Sim. All right?
Just Sim. Yes.
Yeah. Well, how would you like to be introduced?
No, Just Sim is the perfect way to introduce me because I hate FPL Sim.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I was pressured into it.
By whom?
I actually think who got this is Tom.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Said you have to put FPL before your name or no one will take you seriously.
No, but there was once upon a time when I did not want to be a FPL contributor in the community. I just wanted to, lurk and meet people in real life.
Oh, it's not too late for you to go back to those ways.
Yeah, I feel like now,
You're in.
I'm the hero people need but not want.
Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no arguments there. No, sounds good.
So anyway, he was like, oh, you may as well just like make yourself an FPL handle.
Yeah.
And then I started doing. I made a TikTok account and I couldn't just make it Sim because it was taken.
Yeah, because it's 3 letters.
Yeah. So I had to stick 3 more in front of it. But anyway, welcome to a wonderful Gameweek 17 episode of the Stick to FPL show. How are you today, Daniel?
Yeah, not bad. Game week's gone well for me. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, the green arrows keep coming, man. I'm really pleased with the way my season's turning out.
You've been having a lot of that recently.
Yeah, a lot of green arrows. You know those seasons where like you feel like even you might start poorly, but then generally speaking, it's mostly green arrows, not very many reds. In some ways, that feels more fulfilling than starting off really well and then kind of stagnating. So
you feel like there's lack of growth. Here you're growing.
Yeah, you want to grow, even if you're growing from a terrible FPL manager into a good one. So there's growth.
Yeah,
rather than just sitting around, 200k or whatever for like the first 15 game weeks. That feels frustrating if you're not making progress.
Well, I've got a great idea for the viewers.
Yeah.
If you're a terrible FPL manager, you'd like to grow into the season, don't miss out on. I should do these more. Don't miss out on the wonderful 30-day free trial from our sponsors, Fantasy Football Hub.
Bravo.
And save your season. Start getting green arrows. I personally think the only reason you've been getting green arrows is because of the Fantasy Football Hub subscription.
I would generally agree with that. To be fair, that is certainly why I've been getting more green arrows now than I was perhaps 5 years ago before I started using Hub. I don't really have the excuse of having only started using it this season. I've been using it for a while, to be fair. Yeah. But no, certainly, before I was using Hub, my rank was in the millions every year. I wasn't putting very much effort in. I didn't have access to all the stats and stuff like that and all of the great tools and stuff. Since joining, it's been onwards and upwards. So, yeah, I cannot recommend it enough, and neither can you. I've decided you can't either.
Legally speaking,
we
cannot recommend it enough.
No, we have to keep recommending it because they're paying us to.
Otherwise, the show stops running. But alas, seriously, all the not graphics, but all the data always comes from Fantasy Football Hub.
Yeah, data, stats, a lot of the screenshots
is brilliant stuff. But alas, we have to move on. It has been a tumultuous game week.
Yeah,
filled with post 90-minute red cards.
Yeah.
This is probably the most post 90-minute red cards I've seen for FPL relevant players my whole time playing FPL.
I think you're right, yeah. Yeah, it's a strange one. Like, the one game in particular where we've seen a couple of bits of trouble after the full-time whistle was that Wolves game. And I watched the Wolves game. I turned it off towards the end of the game. I think at like 90 minutes, there was a few minutes left to play. I was like, I'm not going to watch the last few minutes. Didn't even clock that there was anything that happened after the game. Went and saw some friends, had some dinner, and I came back and looked at my phone. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? What suddenly Aït-Nouri is suspended? And then people are saying Cunha, he's
been grabbing faces.
Well, I hear it was an elbow, like a KSI elbow.
Oh, no.
But to the back of the head. knocked Matey Boy's glasses off, or one of the Ipswich members of staff knocked his glasses off.
No. Unless he also did that, which I did not see.
Oh, I've seen that.
You saw that?
I've seen a video of it happening.
Oh, no, but there was another one where he straight up, hands in face, pushes someone's face and grabs their glasses off him. He's going after glasses. Maybe he's like, he's visually impaired at the moment.
Yeah. Well, no, I haven't seen that, so maybe there's a few things he's done. My, oh my. Well, that's not good news.
There's also Cunha, obviously, who ended up getting a red card after the full-time whistle, after, he decided to just fight someone whilst there was a referee behind him, and upon fighting someone, also elbowed the referee by accident.
Why is everyone elbowing everyone?
Yeah.
Is this the new hip and trendy move?
Cunha should know better. He's been assaulted many times in the Premier League.
Yeah, but he's like a bit of a nutter, isn't he? Like, no one like reps hair like that and is completely level-headed.
Yeah, the Spanish, you know how they are.
No, I don't. Do you want to
elaborate? they like to fight.
I
have no
idea.
Balls.
They like to fight balls.
I have no idea. All I know is in La Liga, the referees are very strict, so...
Oh, they have to be.
Very strict to avoid it.
Yeah.
But alas, just before we do move on, Dan,
yeah,
I have to commemorate this lovely award that we have won.
Yeah.
It was handed to us by the official... I'm going to put it behind my skin because my skin is dark and it makes it easy to see.
Right. So you're acting like a green screen for the award.
I'm the black. Because if I put it here, you can't see it.
No.
Oh, actually, this works too.
The microphone, yeah.
But anyway... we won an award from the prestigious
Launch Pod
Studios Best FPL Podcast 2024.
Yeah, Best Fantasy League Podcast of 2024. For a few months' work, that's not too bad.
We're also the only I'm just
award-winning fantasy football content right here, guys.
Check that
you can't take that away from us. This is award-winning fantasy content now. So thank you very much, LaunchPod, for for commemorating us.
What?
Commemorating us.
There we go.
With such a prestigious award. But yeah, Aït-Nouri suspended.
Where do we go now?
You tell me, Sim. You tell me.
I have put together.
No, you haven't put together. I make the graphics for the show. Just because you're on buttons, you start claiming my work. You want to do a week of graphics? Be my guest.
You know what? To me, it looks like a bunch of screenshots. I don't know why you act like it's hard work.
It is hard work. It's like 2 hours a week.
Okay.
I'm not even capping.
I will not debate you because I do not want to find out.
Fine.
Alas, we are going to look at the top 10 defenses. We're looking by order of expected goals conceded here.
Yeah, because we want to look for new defenders. A lot of people, and it's not just Aït-Nouri, a lot of people are just in general looking for new defenders to add to their team. I think that's probably going to be the most popular moves this week, will be defensive moves. Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's get stuck in. Now, this graphic...
just for audio, I'm going to quickly just read out the top 10.
Can I just say what the graphic is?
It is, go ahead.
This graphic is last 10 game weeks, teams ordered by expected goals conceded per match.
Per match? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because some of the teams have played different amounts of games at this point. So I thought, let's go per match. Okay. That's fair. Over the past 10 game weeks.
This is very interesting. I'm just going to read it through. If you watched this show a couple of episodes ago, you would have this list looked very different.
Yeah, man.
So right now, top of the pile, Arsenal, then Newcastle, Bournemouth, Everton. Don't shish no more.
Don't shish no more.
Liverpool, Forest, Manchester United, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, and then Fulham.
Yeah.
Obviously, our boys over in the blue side of Manchester not on the top 10.
No, not even close, which we'll see in a second when we look at the bottom 10.
Who jumps out at you here?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty clear to everyone by this point that Arsenal are the best defence in the Premier League, certainly on form. They don't really concede chances, and the fact that they concede 0.74 XG per game, even the jump to second place, which is Newcastle, the jump is 0.2 XG conceded between first and second. That is a huge drop-off there between the first and second best defence. So I think having double Arsenal defence is more important than ever, and I think that should probably be the primary focus of any FPL manager, to get in on double Arsenal defence, if possible, of course, because they're head and shoulders above everyone else, which is quite wacky.
I think the tricky thing this game week is they're very pricey, and a lot of the players that people want to sell are the cheaper players. you're trying to sell Aït-Nouri, I wouldn't personally sell Cucurella, but maybe you're trying to sell, a Mykolenko because the fixtures have turned.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many people who are trying to sell a 6 million defender.
For sure, that
not
is
many
a problem.
people own Vardiol. Like, it's tricky at the moment. You're not going to come off a Trent or a Van Dijk right now.
Nope.
So, I think, whilst you're right, idealistically, if you can get to a Gabriel Saliba, Timber, Raya, you'd be loving life.
Yeah, that's
Probably tricky right now.
Yeah. But like on that, I think a lot of people will be thinking, oh, do I go for an Arsenal defender or a Liverpool defender? And from this, it seems pretty evident that Arsenal defender is probably the first priority before we start thinking about Liverpool defenders, because they cost similar amounts. In fact, Liverpool costs more, really. Van Dijk, Trent obviously has more attacking threat. But
I don't even know about that anymore.
But does he compared to like a Gabriel?
Listen, Stoke City FC over there just love their corners, absolutely smashing it every time. If they can't, I think over the last 10 game weeks, I think probably in 7 of the game weeks, a defender has scored a goal. Maybe 6 of the game weeks. That's not data backed. That's not scientifically driven. That's my theory. But it seems plausible, and I think that has to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Arsenal obviously are a very powerful set piece threat at the moment.
They are.
So the Gabriels and Salibas, and to some extent even Timber, have that threat. So I think you can say that they carry similar attacking threat to someone like Trent.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Saliba. Like we did go over this last week, but again, when now Gabriel's back in the team, Saliba's back to 0 shots, 0 key passes per game, because he's just not the target man like Gabriel is. And like interestingly, I was looking through this earlier. Obviously, Saliba had his little 2 game week run with the 2 goals. He took 3. I think what was it? Between game week, was it 14 and 15, where he scored?
14 and 15. He scored.
Yeah, so he scored in each of 14 and 15. Outside of those 2 weeks, he hasn't taken a single shot. Outside of that. So 1 to 13, 0 shots. Since 15, which to be fair is only 16, 0 shots again.
Standard.
So like he had his little flurry whilst Gabriel was out. He's going to be back to taking 0 shots. And even the shots he did take, they just bounced off him and found the net, essentially.
Fair enough. I wonder whether... Because obviously they look for Gabriel at the moment. I wonder whether to try to throw people off, they might look for Saliba and Gabriel, or Saliba or Gabriel, depending on which arm gets raised, type of stuff.
I feel like Gabriel, now he's 0.1 cheaper than Saliba. If you're picking one, it's pretty obvious you go for Gabriel, right?
But if you own Gabriel, though.
Okay, well, that's where things get interesting, because you can either go Saliba route, a little bit more expensive at 6.2, but you know that he's nailed for the rest of the season, or you go the Timber route, where maybe things get a little dicey around. Game week 24 is the earliest prediction for Ben White to come back.
I'd be more concerned about the fixture congested period as well, though. In December.
I can imagine that Timber is capable of missing like 1 game. But that said, like he's been a 90-minute man. If he was getting like 70 minutes or 80 minutes in certain games, I'd be more concerned. But like we know Arteta by now, he doesn't rotate unless he has to. Yeah. And the good thing about Timber is he's not just a right back, he can also play left back as well. He could play centre back if one of the main guys is missing. So he does have a right position.
That's definitely very interesting. So Arsenal are going to be top of the pile from an interest perspective.
If you're looking for clean sheets, Arsenal are your guys. Straight up.
So moving on from there, we're looking at affordability.
Yes.
And second on the list, Lewis Hall, who has just picked up a stupendous haul.
Incredible. Lewis Hall, because he hauls in FPL. What a guy.
The brains over there to calculate that kind of pun. You know? It's dynamism happening in the brain. But Newcastle were a very poor defense.
They were, and they have been at many times throughout the past year. But I think if we look at Newcastle, maybe just over a year ago, when they had everyone fit and available. Botman, Pope was available.
Dan Burn left back.
This defense was solid. This was one of the best value pick defenses in the Premier League for a long period of time. They had a difficult run with no Dubravka and a lot of players missing. Now, even with certain players missing, I mean, Botman is going to be back soon, but he is still out. But they look good defensively. Like they've really picked it up since the start of the season, and that's evidence to buy their numbers.
Personally, still think it's a little bit precarious, but Lewis Hall's like positioning and his threat, it makes it very interesting, I think.
Yeah.
And the fixtures aren't awful. The fixtures are pretty good, actually. So it's something that I'll definitely be considering. But I don't know. These numbers feel a little bit misleading to me. I still don't think they're the second best defense in the league over the last 10 game weeks.
No, and I think if you looked at clean sheet data alone, they would be up there. They'd still be top half, but they wouldn't be, they wouldn't be second. I think. So Everton have kept more clean sheets, for example. But like I think Newcastle have kept the same amount of clean sheets as Arsenal.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't understand what is materially different between expected goals conceded and expected clean sheet.
Expected clean sheets is how many clean sheets they're expected to get per game based on, so each game is taken individually in context, whereas the expected goals conceded is more
cumulative.
Yeah. Okay. So, how many clean sheets based on the individual performances. So, for example, if they go into a game and they only concede 0.02 XG, then that is a very high expected clean sheet for that individual game. But if they play a game where, I don't know, they concede like 3 or 4 XG, then that is an extremely low expected clean sheet chance.
Got you.
And that's kind of averaged out here.
Okay. So, Newcastle, your take. Serious options?
Well, I mean, the only real serious option, I think, would be Lewis Hall. I think if I'm going down the cheap route, I want more than just clean sheet potential. If you want clean sheets, you go for Arsenal players. If you're looking elsewhere, you're not going to get consistent clean sheets. You can't get it from Newcastle. You can't get it from anyone other than maybe Arsenal at the moment. So you need something a little bit more attacking threat, which Lewis Hall provides. And which we will go on to, like, attacking threat of individuals. The one concern about Hall is when Botman is back, could we see Burn at left back?
That's interesting, that.
Yeah. There's one concern. But Hall has, in my opinion, genuinely been
very important player.
One of the best players in their team. Like, obviously, Isak has been phenomenal, but Hall has been up there as the top performers in that team. He looks brilliant every game. Even when, he's conceding and not getting FPL points, he still looks really good on the pitch. So I think he'll keep getting chances to play. In many ways, he's replaced Trippier as that creative outlet from the wing-back position. So I think it would be difficult to drop him right now because he's so important to the attack, as not just the defence.
Yeah. I don't think they'd have to ease Botman in. So I think we're talking other side of the new year, to be honest with you.
And one other concern with Lewis Hall is the fixtures, and we'll get to fixtures soon, but Ipswich in 17, after that, Villa, Man United, Spurs. 3 of the next 4 games for Newcastle are away from home, and we know Newcastle are poor travellers. So I like the Ipswich game. After that, it's a little bit more techie, to be totally honest. But yeah, let's move on to some of these other teams and just talk about the quality of the defences generally. I think Bournemouth are interesting in 3rd.
Again, one clear option here, Kirkes.
Yep, for sure. And he's nailed. He's nailed as you like. Really, really good.
Very small chance for me. Very small chance.
Honestly,
there's that young lad in there. I can't remember his name. But he plays the same position.
Kirkes is the young lad.
There's a younger lad.
Younger than Kirkes?
There's a younger lad.
How young do they make them?
You can play at 17 these days.
Can you?
But, I mean, bloody hell, they mean 16. But
yeah, true.
Either way, I think Kirkes, he is nailed. I'm just saying there's a very small chance that like a young kid can get a run out during the fixture congestion. But he's the key option again here.
For sure.
And Bournemouth's defense has looked more stable, has looked more sturdy. And again, it's something that the data is trying to back here.
Yeah.
So I would definitely be I think based on what everyone is considering, Hall and Kirkes have been the 2 key replacement options outside of Arsenal.
No. I don't think so.
Who are you?
There's one name that I hear all the time. We'll get there.
Okay.
So let's just go further down this list. Everton, you're not going to touch them with the fixtures. They did keep a clean sheet against Arsenal. I don't know if you watched the game, but like Arsenal had so many chances to score. Odegaard was having a bad day. Pickford was having a very good day. Like there was plenty of chances Arsenal could have scored there. They were conceding chances against top oppositions.
If there was even like 2 good fixtures in there, I'd argue against you. But
It's just not.
It's just not. There's nothing there until like February, basically.
Yeah. Liverpool, we mentioned briefly before. Forest have dropped off. Manchester United are in there, but there's too much rotation. Palace have finally broken into the top 10.
You're going to go Daniel Munoz, aren't you?
I love a bit of Daniel Munoz. We'll get to him. And then Villa and Fulham complete the top 10. Do you want to move on to the bottom 10?
I will.
So that's where we get to Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford, West Ham.
Who's the player you're talking about?
What would you mean?
The player that everyone's considering.
No, he was on the page before.
That's what I thought. Because I thought you just skipped him. Was it Robinson?
Yeah.
Why'd you fly past Fulham then?
All right, let's talk about
Robinson. So
yeah, okay.
how does how does he compare? Because Fulham have visually looked like a very good defense.
Yeah.
Right?
Visually.
We always talk to them about being stubborn team, pressed well, have been challenging to a lot of the tougher opposition.
Yes.
I think their fixtures have probably been rougher in this period compared to a Newcastle or Bournemouth as well.
That is true, yeah. But it's a 10-game week period, so you get a good, rough estimate, but
it can be skewed.
It can be skewed. Of course, they've played Liverpool and Arsenal in the last two, Brighton and Spurs the weeks before that. Last 4 game weeks have been tragic, really.
So how does Anthony Robinson compare to a Kirkes and a Hall?
Well, from a defensive perspective...
From an FPL pick perspective.
Wow, we're going to get to the attacking numbers. We'll do that last.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Okay.
But from a defensive perspective and clean sheet potential perspective, fine. I would probably put them on a similar level to Newcastle and Bournemouth, to be honest. There's not that much difference. We're talking about 0.3 XG conceded per game. That's not crazy. But Fulham, I think it's difficult to say Fulham are a great defence, but they are top 10.
Yeah.
Alongside teams like Crystal Palace, which I think are also an improving defence. But the bottom 10, these are defences we probably are more likely to avoid. Brighton, I mean, I've had Verbruggen for a while, so I've been watching a lot of Brighton, and they're just not a good defence.
Yeah. There's always a big precarious mistake in there.
Yeah, and it's due to the style of football they play, which is passing from the back. And we see a similar situation with Chelsea a lot of the time. They make a lot of individual mistakes. So teams like Brighton and Chelsea, I'm not so keen on these 4 defender picks. I know some people like a Stupinian for the attacking threat, but I think we've got to get the clean sheet locked down first. And then we'll talk about who can add to that.
Yeah.
Because you need multiple outlets of points. Yeah. If you're a cheap defender anyway.
Yeah. Spurs and City, very, very low rated at the moment.
Yeah. And you can't be too surprised with Spurs. They are missing so many key defensive players. City are just woeful at the moment. And the fact that they are 1 place above Wolves, like Man City, 1.76 XGC per game. Wolves...
Basically 2 goals.
1.79 XGC per game. That is the tiniest bit of difference. Man City are Wolves level defense right now. How mad is that?
That's crazy.
It's crazy, but it's true.
That's what they are, and that's what they look like.
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
And this is a 10-game week sample size. We're not looking at, they've had a couple of bad games. They've been awful consistently.
Yeah. Well, no one is looking to go there at the moment.
No.
Let's move on to a little quick discussion on the fixtures.
Yeah.
So you've got a list of the next 6 game weeks here, ordered by best defensive fixtures.
Yes, according to Fantasy Football Hub's algorithm.
And I'll go through the top 6. It's Chelsea, Fulham. Wow, just confused the word Fulham there. Chelsea, Fulham, Manchester United, Manchester City, and Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And the bottom 6 are Brighton, Wolves, Bournemouth, Ipswich, Liverpool, and Southampton.
Interesting, right?
Very interesting.
So we spoke about Robinson a little bit already, and I think this is one key reason why people are looking to Fulham, is because their fixtures from a defensive perspective are brilliant. They play... Southampton. So Southampton next.
Chelsea away,
which is the tough one. But after that...
Bournemouth at home, Ipswich at home, West Ham away, Leicester away.
Quite nice.
Very nice.
Genuinely quite nice. And this is a really nice run for them. You can play your Fulham defender 5 out of the next 6 game weeks with confidence. So really, really nice. Chelsea, I don't want to skip Chelsea out too much because they do have brilliant fixtures. But the fact that they are slightly lower in the table for defensive quality I don't know. I don't trust Chelsea's defense that much.
I still like Gusto, man.
I know you do, and
I also like Cucurella now.
Fully suspended, so
that's the thing. So I can't get him.
Yeah,
but I do like Gusto, and Lavia's kind of a little bit of a injury issue.
He is,
so I feel
which helps Gusto.
Exactly. So it's interesting, but I'm a lot colder on it now than I was before because they do. Even the manager was commenting on it. He's like, he said a top team don't make these kind of mistakes because they have the experience. And he's right. The young boys, you know what I mean? So I'm a little bit colder, but I'm still interested in Gusto. I think he's good.
There is some risk there, and I don't think I'd be willing to take it on. Like, if Chelsea were a better defence and I trusted them defensively, I'd be more willing to go there because Gusto, when you watch him on the pitch, he is creative. He is doing bits. The other Chelsea defender I think people are thinking about is Colwill. But it just doesn't excite me enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah. We're talking about a defender from an average defence with zero attacking threat. You're just hoping for clean sheets in good fixtures. The only thing he has for him going for him is good fixtures. And I want at least, 3 categories when picking a defender. Playing for a good defence, has good fixtures, and has some kind of attacking threat. I want 2 of those criteria met, minimum. Colwill has 1.
Yeah. I think it's a push to say that they're not in good defense. I know this is what we're saying. Bottom half.
Yeah.
But I still think Chelsea are a solid defense. I do think they're a solid defense. I think they're prone to mistakes, and I think that could get cleaned up. But I 100% agree with you. It's not exciting. I don't want to move from an Aït-Nouri where I was wanting goals in my defense to then move to a Colwill where I'm begging for a 6-point clean sheet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, after that, Manchester United, 2 rotation prone, I think.
Agreed.
Man City, no way. But after that, we've got Crystal Palace, who I genuinely think are quite interesting after we get at least this Arsenal game out of the way. Get the Arsenal game out of the way. After that, Bournemouth away, I don't think is a fantastic jumping on point, but I don't hate it. But after that, like Southampton, Chelsea, Leicester, West Ham, but the good fixtures kind of just do keep coming from there. Brentford, Man United, Everton, like they've got good fixtures for a decent period of time. I like them. I think it's frustrating that we want a new defender in the week where Crystal Palace play their worst fixture of the run because I would love to jump in on him. on him.
Entry point is like so important for me. Well, pause. Entry point is very important. Well, that's also a pause. But
right, can we stop talking about entering and jumping on for a second here? It's a clean family show.
It's important, right? You don't want to purchase a player and see Arsenal at home.
No, you don't.
You just don't want to do it, especially when you get someone like Anthony Robertson walking into Southampton at home.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he's one to consider from Gameweek 19. If, for example, you can just stomach it this week and just roll your transfer, maybe then you'll be in a better position to make that move in Gameweek 19.
For sure.
Because not many people will want to be doing that around then. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Quickly, should we just run through some of the other teams we were briefly talking about there? So Newcastle sit around mid-table. They have some good, some bad. And Bournemouth, who, we spoke about going for someone like Kirkes. In general, the fixtures aren't actually that good for Bournemouth. Man United away, Fulham away, Chelsea away, Newcastle away, all in the next 6.
I feel like there's 2 clean sheets in that, though.
Yeah, but they're against Crystal Palace at home and Everton at home.
Yeah.
The rest of the fixtures, like Man United away, Fulham away, Chelsea away, Newcastle away, how many clean sheets in that?
Yeah, probably max 1 in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we've talked enough about defenders. We'll wrap up quickly with the expected points per start.
Yeah.
Again, over the last 10 game weeks?
No. So I like defensive stats 10 game weeks, attacking stats 6. Because it gives a better idea of form.
Okay. So, obviously, Saliba, top of the pile. One of the most attacking and crazy defenders in there. No, of course.
For 2 game weeks only.
Accidentally botched the ball. But Munoz, second on that list.
This is the crazy thing. Suspended, plays against Arsenal. We need a new defender. He is that guy. Crystal Palace, improving defence with good fixtures. We have an insanely attacking defender here. And we can't get him.
And you know what? They're playing really well at the moment. They just beat Brighton.
Yeah.
And I did not expect that at all. They smashed Brighton.
Crystal Palace are back to that team we saw last season.
We just need Mateta to start smashing in braces every week now. Interestingly enough, following that is 2 Arsenal defenders and then Hall.
Yeah.
So these are all the players that we've been discussing who have good defensive data, but also seem to have that attacking threat.
Yeah, so this is expected points. So that
in combination.
So it's combining the clean sheet potential with the attacking potential. But there's a lot of Crystal Palace in here. A surprising amount of Crystal Palace. I mean, Munoz, for example, I know we can't buy him, but 1.99 XG in 6 games. That's crazy. 6 key passes during that time as well. That's absolutely nuts. Timber, we know, has got a little bit of attacking threat. He's taken 4 shots in the box and 3 key passes. We like that. Obviously, Gabriel is always going to be a threat. Hall is nice. Who's after that? Lacroix from Crystal Palace. A little bit of attacking threat there from him. But again, you're not going to buy him ahead of Arsenal, most likely. Although some people, I streamed yesterday and people were asking, if you have Aït-Nouri, would you just sell them for a Crystal Palace defender now to compete with price changes and then just bench them? Or would you just wait for 1 more week for information? I think I'd wait a week.
It depends on what your cover is. My cover is Mikalenko. So I got to move.
Yeah. And you need someone for right now. So Munoz is kind of out. Not really for you,
pretty much.
Yeah, that's
but most likely, whichever defender you buy, there's about a 65% chance it's going to be a 2.0 or a 1-pointer.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to stomach it, go for it. I'm just not a fan of it.
Fair enough.
I'm going to have a think about it because the data is compelling. To say the least.
Yeah, it seems so obvious that Munoz is the guy to buy.
Yeah.
But just not this game week because he's suspended.
Yeah. But I do like Hall. I do like Robinson as well. But let's move.
Oh, sorry. 3 more players on that list. Kirkes is on here as well.
He is.
As one of the top defenders. You know who's not on here? Robinson. Robinson is like a season overperformer for assists.
But I think this is a thing to do with their defensive data as well, though, because the defensive data is taken quite a lot into account for expected points. And Fulham have had these tough fixtures, so their expected clean sheet is going to be quite low.
Fine. Do you want to know his attacking data?
Go on then.
So 6 game weeks, 4 shots, 1 on target, none in the box.
Assist threat.
Okay, assist threat, 8 key passes. That's not bad. 2 big chances created, 1.06 XA, but 3 assists from that.
Oh, a total of 0.06.
1.06.
1.0. Oh, that's that's decent.
Yeah, so one expected assist in 6 game weeks. But he got 3 assists. It's like what I'm saying is it's nowhere near Daniel Munoz's data.
Yeah, I hear you. You're saying, even though it looks like it's nice to go for Robinson now because of the fixtures,
I think long term Munoz is your guy.
You'll probably eat more out of it. And you know what? That's a good point to take on board. That's a good point to take on board. I'll have to have a think about it. But let's move on to attackers.
Yeah,
because our friend Cunha has been assaultative.
Is that a word?
He's been assaultative.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Check the Oxford Dictionary.
I won't. I'm literally not going to do that. but do carry on. Don't let me break your flow.
We are going to have to start thinking about what kind of forwards we should be looking at.
Yeah, because we think Cunha is going to get suspended, basically. We're pretty sure at this point he's going to get suspended.
Is there an investigation going on? Has the FA said anything?
There will be an investigation
not the FA,
going on.
The Premier League.
Yeah, it'll be going on right now. And I think the fact that there's video evidence is so compelling that there's very little chance he gets away with it.
See, I didn't see the elbow. I thought the face glasses pull thing might have just been ignored as a bit of a scuffle, but a bit of an elbow.
Elbow to the back of the head. It's not looking good for him, if I'm totally honest.
So, we are going off the assumption that there's a decent chance of Cunha getting suspended.
Yeah.
So we're now looking at the forwards with the highest expected points per start over the last 6 game weeks.
Yeah.
Top of the pile is Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's interesting.
He's not even nailed anymore.
Yeah, I know. And he's putting up great data, but he's not finishing his chances. And the fact that he has a penalty in there as well as one of his two goals in 4 starts. Or is that right?
That looks like 3 goals because it's 0.5 or
2
goals per
goals.
start.
No, 2 goals in 6 game weeks.
Oh, because
one was a penalty.
He didn't have a few starts.
He's not started the last 2 game weeks.
Yeah,
So this data for him is a little skewed.
that's true.
He's not started the last 2.
Per start makes it him. Basically means he's competing with 4 games whilst everyone else is competing off 6. So his division is much better. So we're gonna ignore Watkins in that case because this is fake data.
Well, he does play Man City at home next, and as we've established, they are a terrible defense right now.
He's just the kind of player to smash them in.
Yeah, but like in addition to that, Brighton in 19, Leicester in 20. Couple of good fixtures.
He's pricey though.
He's very pricey, 8.9. I think we could probably do a bit better. Maybe the second guy on this list.
Isak is very interesting right now.
Last week he was number 1 transfer target for me. I basically said I'm going to get Isak in no matter what the cost. I'll make sure this happens.
However I do it.
Yeah. And I sold Cunha to get him in because I know like some people didn't like that because they're like Cunha is a good player with good fixtures. I completely agree with that. But Isak is a better player with better fixtures. Actually, he had exactly the same thing. But he had the better game week 16 fixture. I think it was, for me, worth the upgrade. And I think now that Cunha's suspended, if you can get to Isak, it's a no-brainer. Don't even think about it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people will struggle, though, because people have either Jackson or Isak at the moment. You've got both, right?
I do, yeah.
And I don't think many people are in that position.
Perhaps not.
And it'd be lovely to get into that position. Ever since we hyped up João Pedro, he's been doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you can see here his data is... Wait, is he on this list? Yeah. His data is okay, but I think we always forget with João Pedro, he's like 5.5 million forward. Like, what do you want?
So this is the thing. Cunha's cheap.
Yeah.
João Pedro is cheap.
Yeah. Well, Cunha's not that cheap. 7.1 million now.
Is Cunha 7.1? No, he's not.
Yes, mate. Yes. Honestly, mate.
You are lying.
No, he's no longer cheap. He's 7.1 million right now.
God, when did that happen?
Yeah.
I must have a lot of money made in him. But okay, no, fair enough. So Cunha to Isak actually isn't that crazy then. It's like a 1.5, 1.6 million jump.
Yeah. You take in purchase price and price difference into consideration.
Yeah.
It's doable with a down. You know, you might need to make 2 transfers, make a downgrade elsewhere.
Would you pick between Jackson and Isak is the question basically that I want to get to.
If I were to pick between Jackson and Isak, it would be Isak every time.
But would you pick between Jackson and Isak if you had Jackson? Would you sell a Jackson now?
Okay. So, you know, you're saying like sell both Jackson and Cunha in order to upgrade one of them to Isak and downgrade the other one to someone slightly cheaper, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I would do it. If you are 100% happy with the rest of your team, I would do it.
I don't think I'd do that. I don't think I'd do that.
Yeah, but like I think you're assuming people have other ways of getting money. Like if you have Arsenal and Liverpool defenders, you're not going to sell them before Jackson.
So like I don't have any other way to get to him other than doing basically that transfer.
Right.
Which it's literally not even crossed my mind as something that's reasonable to do.
Do you not have like a cash cow midfielder or something like that? A lot of people have Bruno or Mbeumo.
Sold Mbeumo to Enzo. I've got Enzo, Rodgers, Salah, Palmer, and Saka. Mm-hmm. So unless I decide to sell Saka,
yeah, there's no way you're going in that midfield.
It's just not happening.
No.
So yeah, at the moment, unless Cunha actually gets suspended,
yeah, and you're praying that's not going to happen.
And I'll be praying, but even then, I'd have no reasonable way for me to do it.
Well, you could do Jackson and Cunha to Isak and Wood.
Even if I could do it, my point is though, I think selling Jackson for Isak is such a sideways points chasing move, in my opinion. I think Jackson is a great pick.
Plays Everton away next.
Listen, it's still
Fulham after that.
It's still Everton. It's still Fulham. Like Chelsea have been the best attack in the league. And by the way, I said that a while ago. And you laughed at me when I said that about.
Nah, you're right
about Chelsea being better than Everton in attack. Everton, Arsenal.
I should hope so.
But
you are right. You're right.
I think like they're a very good attack. And I don't know if you watched the Chelsea game. Mm-hmm. Jackson had so many chances, and that's just Jackson, right? It's high volume of chances. One of them will roll into the net somehow. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think whilst you're right, Isak is the better player probably the better FPL option.
Penalty taker, assist threat as well, which Jackson doesn't have so much. Isak is genuinely creative.
Jackson misses so many shots.
He does, which harms him on bonus points as well.
If you're getting another attack in return,
maybe.
So I think it's a strange one, but my opinion,
I get it. You want both.
Yeah, you'd want both.
Yeah,
exactly. And if you can get to both, hoo-ha, hurrah, amazing. You can do it.
Hoo-ha, hurrah. I've never heard you say that before.
but if you can't, I don't think I'd do the move.
Fair.
Yeah.
Nah, that's fair. Okay. Yeah. Well, in that case, it's tricky. If you can't get Cunha to Isak, where do you go?
That's the thing, right? So next on this list is Erling Haaland. You're not going to go there.
No.
Evan Nilsson is suspiciously high.
Yeah, he does, but the fixtures aren't particularly good for him. We'll have a look at fixtures in a minute.
Cody Gakpo is interesting.
2 rotation risk. Diogo Jota's back now, scoring on his return.
Nicholas Jackson's after that. And then we've got... Go ahead.
To be fair, if you can't quite afford Cunha to Isak, but you can afford Cunha to Jackson, I don't mind that.
Cunha to Jackson, of course. Yeah. Bringing in, like, having Jackson and Isak right now is probably like the 2 best strikers you can have in your team.
I think that's a good argument to say that is true. Yeah.
So if you can't get to Isak, Jackson is your second best thing.
Yeah.
How about Delap?
Delap is super interesting. He's getting a lot of good chances to score, but hasn't quite been finishing them off. But I think that's kind of what you worry about. We've been speaking about, top strikers from top Premier League teams, and naturally they're going to convert more of the chances they do get. And there is a huge drop-off with Delap and his kind of, I guess, quality of finishing. So, yeah, it's difficult. I don't know if I trust the Ipswich attack generally as much.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great having an Ipswich forward in your team.
No.
Visser?
He's all right. He's fine. Doesn't excite me that much these days.
Solanke, in my opinion, not an option. João Pedro, reasonable, but is now the time to buy him?
He's a value for money pick, and the fixtures aren't amazing from here. There's still some okay fixtures, but there's nothing like crazy anymore.
And then you got the absolute machine of Chris Wood.
Yeah, poor numbers, but continues to score. But on that, it's an interesting one because this is 6 game week data. Interestingly, with Wood, is he has played some tough games during this period.
Man City, Arsenal,
Villa, Man United, City, Arsenal, and Newcastle in the last 6. There's a lot of tough fixtures in there. Yeah. The easiest fixture was Ipswich at home. He played in 13. He got 0.79 XG and scored. One more note: he scored a goal. He unfortunately was offside against Villa.
I saw that.
Very, very tight as well. Yeah. Very tight.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have to count that.
Show up in the data as well.
Doesn't show up in the data, but it is, a fact. So I don't know. I think I quite like Wood. I think he's probably my...
Whoa.
Yeah. Should we get the Wood jokes out the way now?
Pause.
I'm bored of it, to be honest, Tim.
You quite like what?
No, I'm bored of it. Ever since Chris Wood emerged as an FPL asset that we talk about, every week it's like, oh, you like Wood, do you? Yes, I love Wood. I love lovely big hulking Wood
emerging
in my FPL team.
We'll move on to Mateta, who I think is interesting. If only he was in a bit more form, because obviously the fixtures are turning for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Again, now this week is not the time.
I think a lot of people have been speaking about Mateta. I think it's incredibly speculative to assume that he's suddenly going to hit form.
Yeah, it is speculative, but it's interesting because we know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
And then finally on this list is Raul Jimenez, who again has brilliant fixtures, but is a rotation risk.
I think he plays most games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my bigger concern with Jimenez is his data's not that good.
Yeah.
Which concerns me.
But this is a Fulham point again.
The fixtures.
The fixtures they've had.
Yeah.
And the fixtures they do have.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Southampton coming up next.
I always think, you can have the best fixtures in the world. If you don't have the data to back it up, then are you going to perform in those fixtures? Raul Jimenez, he's not a Cunha. He's not going to be able to pull out wonder goals from low XG.
Scored against you guys.
He did, and he's
scored a great goal against you guys.
Yeah, but I don't think that's replicatable. And the one good thing about him is he is 5.5 million. So it's like the cheapest of all of these guys. I would definitely say Raul Jimenez is an option if you are downgrading Cunha with a view to reinvest the money elsewhere. Because then when it works on two accords, you've replaced Cunha, you've dealt with an issue, and you've freed up money to maybe improve other areas of your team. I think there's something to be said about that.
I think for me personally, if Cunha's suspended for one game, for example, I'm probably going to bench him. For me, if Cunha's suspended for like 3, a very, very big discussion for me to have here.
Okay.
And I wouldn't even be shocked if I go for someone like a Gakpo, because
Really?
I just don't like basically any of the options on this list, and I'm not going to rip apart my team to go for Isaac.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's conclude this conversation with a question. Give me I assume money is no like issue. You have unlimited budget. Who is your top 5 Cunha replacements for game week 17? Starting with number 1.
If I knew that answer,
You can spend any amount of money. Maybe not Haaland.
I was going to say Haaland, but
You can't say Haaland.
I'm obviously going to go Isak number 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Jackson number 2.
Yeah. Number 3. Does Wood sneak in there, number 3?
Maybe not at number 3, but I'll probably say, I mean, who would you want between Watkins, Solanke, João Pedro, and Wood? You'd probably want Wood, I guess.
Okay.
So Wood at number 3, Watkins at number 4.
Yeah. Dead air.
Gakpo at number 5?
Terrible. Terrible.
I think Gakpo's decent, man. I think
the
Gakpo's
rotation
decent.
risk, man.
The rotation's crazy, and you know what? You're right. Jota's just come back in now as well.
Chiesa's back as well.
Chiesa's not going to play football. Jota, Diaz, Gakpo are basically fighting. Oh, Darwin Núñez are fighting for 2 spots. So it's you're right. The minutes there are just going to be too dodgy. So okay, I mean, but that's the thing. After that, I'll probably go Raul Jimenez from a fixtures perspective. Like it's so tricky. Well, who's your 5?
Okay, my 5 best forwards to replace Cunha with would be Isak, if you can afford it, without a shadow of a doubt. Then I would probably go Jackson, number 2. Number 3, I would go for Chris Wood. Be pretty confident in that one. Number 4, Raul Jimenez, just because of those fixtures do look good. But if you don't have a João Pedro yet in your team, I would certainly put him in number 5 as well. I think penalty taker, nailed on, obviously a great player capable of these great moments. I think he is still worth buying as a cheaper option. But that's my top 5, and I think each of those has their own merits. I think there's not really too much bad you could say about any of those picks. I think they're all sensible, safe, and all have their own benefits. So that's my Cunha replacements.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Best fixtures attacking. Fulham top of the list.
Yeah.
Southampton, Chelsea, Bournemouth. Southampton at home, Chelsea away, Bournemouth at home, Ipswich at home, West Ham away, and then Leicester away. And then after that, you've got Manchester United in terms of the list. Manchester United, and then Arsenal, and then Man City, and then Crystal Palace.
Yeah. All these teams have good fixtures for attackers.
And then coming to the bottom of the list, starting off at Tottenham, worst attacking fixtures.
Yeah.
Sun owners would be concerned. Bournemouth, Wolves, Brentford, and Ipswich.
And interestingly, Brighton are just
outside
the worst 5 for fixtures.
So that's interesting. I think obviously this is again why the Anthony Robinson shout is going to be interesting, but that's defenders. But attacking wise, someone like an Emile Smith-Rowe, someone like a Raul Jimenez has to come into the thinking.
Iwobi?
It will be probably. I never believe in revitalized bad players.
No, bad players.
I just never believe in it.
That's violation.
Sorry to the Nigerians.
No, it's all right. We forgive you.
My bad. But Iwobi he's not. I don't know. I don't want to talk about Iwobi.
Nah,
for me, he's just not.
I get asked about him non-stop. That's the annoying thing. Should we go for Iwobi?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Watch Iwobi for more than one game. Watch more than the highlights reel for Iwobi. You'll know why you don't pick him as an FPL choice.
Yeah. Manchester United are very high on this list.
They are, but I think Ahmad, I love, but we're meant to be talking about forwards here, really. But I think we can extend it to midfielders as well. Ahmad is like a no-brainer. If you're looking for a cheap midfielder, last week you go Enzo. If you go in this week, you go Ahmad.
Pick between them.
Now, Ahmad.
Why?
Because I think he's nailed on his place now. He's playing more advanced now, which is good. He just looks brilliant.
Rashford and Garnacho are obviously still in the picture.
Are they?
Start against Man City. And I think that's just a...
They weren't even in the squad.
But I think that's obviously just like a disciplinarian thing, right?
Yeah.
But Rashford and Garnacho are still very much in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just going to be a scenario where
but
they
they're
just
not,
now don't start.
They're not going to displace Ahmad now. Bruno's been playing deeper.
But does that not mean that Ahmad could go into one of the fullback positions?
He could, but like as long as he's playing, I think that's step one. And he when he was playing in the wing back position, he was still providing some value.
Yeah.
And we've got to put this in context. He's a 5 million midfielder.
You're right. And Enzo has the same problems, right? Because Enzo could be playing in that sort of second 10, or he could be playing in a deeper role next to Caicedo.
For sure.
So it's interesting. I think Ahmad probably is slightly more appealing to me. I get it. There's a very emotional game that they just played, but the rotation over at Manchester United, the fact that there's two senior players who are probably more likely to get that position, maybe more likely is not the correct term, but likely to at least start some of the games over the next 10, that would probably concern me a little bit. And I'm not a fan of buying a midfielder who's playing defender. Okay. So that's my concern there. But what about Haaland?
No.
Why not?
It's so speculative. We've had this conversation so many times. Every 3 or 4 weeks, we have the Haaland conversation. Oh, is Haaland a good asset now? And then you reflect on his previous few weeks and you go, yeah, no, he wasn't, was he? And then we go again. We say, oh, but what about now? This time he is going to be an asset. I'm tired of the Haaland conversation, man.
How many goals does he have in the last 5?
I don't know.
It's at least 3.
In the Premier League or against, like I don't know, Shlokoslav Perofovic in the who knows what cup that Arsenal were in for many years, but we don't talk about that.
Okay, have a look at that for a second. But after that, you've got Arsenal. There's Kai Havertz in there. There's Saka's and Erdegaard's also that may be coming into consideration, but no one's really making transfers in midfield this week. I'm not sure that you'd go for an Arsenal striker at the moment, and I'm probably thinking that you'd agree with me.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No way I'd be interested in Havertz when you can get the Jackson and Isak for similar money. Man
City, not options at the moment.
Nope.
Crystal Palace, Mateta is the only one.
He's not cheap. If Mateta's 6.5, we'll talk about him. He's 7.1 million. Too much.
Cunha money.
He is Cunha money, yeah.
And then after that, we've got Newcastle with Isak. West Ham haven't really got a striker in FPL.
Fulkrug maybe comes in soon, but he's still returning slowly.
I think this list just highlights how challenging it is to replace Cunha at the moment if you're not going for a Jackson or an Isak.
This is why I'm saying make every effort to get Isak, because he is so clear to me the best replacement.
I don't think, I will maintain that I don't think it is worthwhile selling any Arsenal defender.
No, I agree.
Liverpool defender.
Agree.
Any of the big 3 premiums in Saka, Palmer and Salah.
Agree. But I think that is where it cuts off for me. I think anyone else other than those players are worth sacrificing. Maybe not for -4.
I put Jackson on the list.
I would maybe put Jackson on the list.
In that case, if you've got those players, you cannot have Isak.
That is fair. Yeah. That's fair.
No, that's reality.
And I know that's you. That's you. But I don't think that's going to apply to 95% of people listening.
That's the thing. If you don't have one of those players and you got some annoying player in your midfield or defense that you need to, you got a Gvardiol, you got a Bruno, you got an Mbermo.
But even if you got
Bowen,
even if you got like a Digne in your team who's just sitting around on your bench, just drop him down to a 4 million defender. Reinvest that money in Isak. Yeah. There's so many different routes to do this.
Yeah.
I bet I can find, when we look at your team, I bet I can find a route for you.
You know what? I need to take a quick gander. Did you find out how many goals Haaland has scored?
2 goals in the Premier League this season.
Over the last how many goals? How many games has he scored 2?
The whole season.
No. Don't do that. Over the last 4 games, how many goals has he scored?
1.
What about the last 5?
1. 6. 1, 7, 1, 8, 1.
Are you serious?
9, 2.
Are you serious?
Yes. But I know he scored in other competitions.
Interesting.
I don't know, Matt, but his numbers are like, he got against City 0.00 XG against an awful City team. Like, come on. We're really going to do the Haaland conversation again.
Okay. Fair enough. I guess I'm not replacing Cunha with Haaland.
You were thinking about it, weren't you?
I really was for a moment. Let's move on to captaincy. Because it's another very interesting game week. With the top two being matched again.
Yeah, Palmer and Salah super tight.
Both
super
away
tight.
games.
Well, every captain option this week has an away game. And on this list of top predicted points for Game Week 17, Palmer, Salah, Isak, Haaland, Saka all have away games. Cunha is also the next guy on this list, assuming he plays. But again, another away game against Leicester.
Is Isak the best on this list?
He's not the best player on this list.
Is he the best captain option for Game Week 17 on this list?
Well, here's the thing. I know people like to say Ipswich is a horrible, horrible fixture. But when I was trying to justify selling Cunha last week, kind of looking through Ipswich. And now, by the way, Ipswich have conceded 8 goals in 7 games.
I'm going to remind you of this slide.
Yeah, their defensive data is awful.
They are second.
But they just don't concede that many goals.
And then I'm going to quickly remind you of this slide.
Want to see Isak's data, which is
second
phenomenal.
Best.
Like, his data right now is better than Haaland's, and he's in better form than Haaland. So it's like captaining Haaland against Ipswich in a way, which everyone would say, yeah, no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I triple captained him for 17 points.
Oh, don't say this to me, Sim, because I will be tempted to captain Isak against Ipswich. All right, another factor. Isak away from home, Newcastle away from home, going all the way over to East Anglia to see the Tractor Boys.
Yeah. Who's your favourite right now?
My favourite right now is Salah, because I have a firm anti-Spurs agenda.
Yeah, I think the data agrees with you as well. Right now, my bus team captain has Salah.
Nice. Same. Yeah, I think people will look at Palmer against Everton and see what Palmer did last season against Everton, because that was the game he scored like 25 FPL points or something crazy like that. But Everton looks solid defensively right now. I think Chelsea will still score against them, and I have no doubt Palmer could be involved. But I think
he scored 4 goals and got an assist or something stupid like that, didn't he?
Salah against Spurs, man. Spurs are so bad at the back right now.
And from in that position as well, they're so bad. Like, the fullbacks are
way up the pitch. Bad.
The words I want to say are not allowed on YouTube, but like the fullbacks just really not good at the moment. They haven't got any defenders that are fit at the moment. So just for me, Salah just feels so good. Like, I don't know how he's not a runaway option here, given Everton's defensive data and Tottenham's defensive data. But Palmer, Everton, flat track bully. We know what the history says.
Yeah,
you would not be shocked at Palmer smashing it.
And he's I think he's arguably the kind of player who can unlock a team like Everton as well. If he gets the chances that Ødegaard got in Game Week 16, then Palmer can do the business against Everton. He really can. It's so tough. It's so tough. But I think I'm leaning Salah because I think Spurs just are so poor at the moment. Isak is interesting, but I again, Ipswich putting up bad data, but I trust them a little bit more defensively in a weird way.
Than Everton?
No, not more than Everton, no. So Salah.
Or Isak?
I don't know.
I think Isak is a brilliant option. I think for captaincy, like this single game, like brilliant option.
All right. Okay, so let's do top 3 captains. Like there's a tough week for picking your captain. I think we probably both agree that Palmer, Salah, and Isak are probably the top 3 captain choices for this week. I don't think. Are you looking elsewhere at all? You had a little look at like a Saka or anyone?
No. There's nobody else in my team that I trust with armband at the moment.
Okay, then rank them. Salah against Spurs. Is he number 1 for you right now?
See, I don't have Isak, so I haven't compared Salah.
If you had Isak as well.
So this needs to give me a moment to, mentally computate.
I can't give you a moment because I'm going to clip this up into a TikTok.
Okay, for me, this game week, the best 3 captains just has to be Mo Salah number 1, Alexander Isak number 2, and Cole Palmer number 3. That's for me. Like Salah's probably just going to kill it this week.
You know what? I actually agree. I think Isak. I agree with you. Isak is an underrated captain option for Game Week 17. I think people are sleeping on him. His data is good. He is as much. He is like more of the heartbeat of his team than arguably Salah and Palmer are at the moment, because Salah and Palmer are producing moments. Isak is talismanic and involved in everything the Newcastle are doing right now.
It's crazy to say about Salah and Palmer, but
yeah, but they're moments players, and that's where they've been getting a lot of FPL points. You don't see them doing much for a while, and then they just they produce these incredible moments. Isak is non-stop. Every attack, Isak is trying to take on a player, dribble past a player, or create for one of his teammates, or taking shots, or being that target man. Everything is about Isak in that Newcastle team, and the fact he's on penalties as well, he's got to be an option.
Okay.
Wrap up with our teams.
It's getting late.
Oh, no. Differential of the week.
Have a quick chat about the differential of the week.
Yeah. And since your Game Week 16 differential of the week was Clivert, and we're recording this before the Bournemouth Wolves game, like it kicks off in like 10 minutes.
No. It's actually already kicked off, and we already know he's braced.
Oh, yeah.
We already know that I've picked up that 14-point.
He's braced for points, you mean? He scored 2 individual points.
He's got a brace of points.
He's got a brace of points. That's what he's got.
Well, listen, Clover, please, if you're watching this from the past.
I'm pretty sure unless he is in the room right now, listening in, and then he's quickly going to run to the game against West Ham. I mean, it's not that far. We're not that far, to be fair.
He could probably do that run.
Yeah.
Make half time. But no, I am currently 54 points behind. Hopefully by the end of today, I will be 52 points behind.
Maybe.
We'll see how
Maybe.
it goes.
Sancho, by the way, was my Game Week 16 differential of the week. I think I was pretty unlucky with that one.
I definitely think. You know what? I watched that game yesterday thinking Sancho is having one of the best games I've seen for him for a long time.
Yeah, he looked really good.
He's looking better and better every single time I watch him. And you can't believe that United sold him for like 20 million and change. But alas, that's what happens when you piss off the old Ten Hag.
Yep.
Who have you gone for this week, Daniel?
My differential of the week is Strand Larson. We just keep going back to this guy for differential of the week. We're going to go again.
Can people please just buy him so he can stop picking Strand Larson? Because every time I look at the screen, I always think, you know what, Strand Larson is a decent option this week.
Yeah, he's just like the differential of the week guy at this point. But like as bad as Wolves are, Leicester are worse.
Yeah,
and if Cunha's not playing, Sarabia's still out. Could Strand Larson maybe pick up a penalty there? Maybe. So yeah, I like Strand Larson for a differential of the week. So congratulations, Strand Larson. He's going to score this week.
Well, commiserations, the very small amount of you who own Jacob Murphy.
A few people probably looking at him, to be fair, at 4.9 million.
But I think this is one of my better picks over the last couple of game weeks. Jacob Murphy against Ipswich. We're saying Isak is a captain option.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Murphy has to be a differential option.
Yeah.
If he starts.
This is the week Barnes comes back into the team, isn't it?
Yeah. Barnes and Gordon up front.
Yeah.
So, alas, hopefully it's more than a 1 pointer for me, but I do think Murphy's interesting this week. It has been getting more and more tricky. Very frustratingly, Son is 5.1% owned at the moment.
Yeah, I saw. I almost went for him for my differential of the week.
Yeah.
I was thinking, can people sell Son so I could pick him as my differential? He plays against Liverpool anyway, to be fair.
But still Son.
Yeah, true.
Better off having Son. Obviously, De Bruyne is still under 5%, but, that still sucks.
Yeah. City suck.
And yeah, I mean, that's basically all that, unless you're going to go for Souček. But that's what we've gone for. Let us know in the comments, are there any 5% options that you think we should have picked? That we didn't pick?
5% or under.
Yes.
5% is fine. If it's 5%, I think it's fine.
I don't, but even the chat said no.
Well, chat.
Even the comments after the video was posted said no.
That would really matter if I cared about what the comments section said. No, I'm joking.
Whoa.
The comment section hate me.
Whoa.
Do they hate me?
Whoa.
They hate me and they love you.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
No?
They're just charmed by my charisma.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't have any of that riz.
I give the viewers butterflies.
Oh, nice. You give me butterflies, to be fair, Sim.
You're married, go
For now.
Anyway, game week 16. I'm currently sat on 50 points. I'm on basically a grey arrow. My rank has changed by 13,000, up from 770k to 750k. I'm expecting this to come down, obviously, because West Ham and Bournemouth are about to play. So hopefully Kluivert somehow brings my rank down. But pretty reasonable week in the end. I got the double Arsenal defense points. Enzo picked up the assist. He was my purchase this week. Trent was a bit of a letdown. I obviously avoided the Palmer captaincy, which I thought kind of worked out.
Yeah, I was worried for you for a minute.
I was worried for me too. Salah, thank God he got that assist. Little cheeky 5-pointer turning into a 10. Brilliant assist, by the way. Did you see it?
Yeah, no, really nice. Really
beautiful.
He's just a brilliant football player, isn't he?
He's so good at the moment. He's just so good. Playing for a country like Aubameyang. And then up front, Nicholas Jackson, goal, João Pedro blank, Cunha, goal. So pretty happy with the front line. I mean, Nicholas Jackson outscored by Isak by about 2-3 points. It is what it is. I can live with it.
Yeah, it's 3 points. It's nothing, man.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
I think you can't even call it a mistake, but the only thing that could have done better in this team was if I started Mikalenko over Aït-Nouri.
Yeah, but you were never going to do that.
Exactly.
No, it would
never
have been
even
dumb of you to do that.
Yeah, never a consideration. I'm glad Rodgers hasn't scored on my bench again. But this is how the team performed last game week, and this is how I'm looking for next game week. Currently starting Raya in goal, Trent in defense, Timber and Mikalenko with him. In midfield, I've got Salah captain next to Palmer, Saka, and Enzo Fernandes.
Are you going to play Enzo over Rodgers for the time being? You thinking? Yeah.
For Man City, I will.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't know if that's even a good call. But
yeah, this is the thing. I've been thinking about this. I don't mind playing Rodgers against Man City right now.
Yeah, Man City are so bad. But and then up front, I've got Cunha, João Pedro, and Jackson. The stickler is, if Cunha is out for more than 2, if he's out for 2 or more game weeks, I have a big problem, and I have 1 free transfer. And I'm like, I could just bench it. I really could. I think maybe the best shout for me is to just bench it, play Rodgers versus City, play Rodgers versus Newcastle.
But the fixtures for Cunha are so bad after that anyway.
But the thing is, I'd be forcing it. I'd have to take hits.
How many free transfers have
I've
you
got
got?
1.
I think I may have found a solution, by the way.
Go on then. I've got quite a lot in the bank, by the way.
Yeah, you've got 1.2 million in the bank.
I need 0.7 to buy Isak.
Yeah. So could you downgrade Aït-Nouri to someone to upgrade Cunha to Isak?
I'd have to go to a 4 million. And if I did that, I'd have to keep Mikalenko for the foreseeable future.
I'm just thinking players like Anderson. I think it's 4.2 now. If they could make that work.
It's not enough. I need 0.7.
It's Trent, isn't it, man? He's the one.
Yeah.
I've
just gone for him as well.
Damn.
Yeah. But alas, Trent in early.
Yeah.
I don't know if this week is the week I expect much points, but after that, I think it's looking very good. But yeah, I would absolutely love to have Isak in my team, but I'm not about to start ripping my team apart to do it.
I think I'd just go Wood. Cunha to Wood, straight move. Wait, just play Mikalenko for this week. Just take like the L. And you don't even know if it's going to be an L necessarily. Everton have just pulled off a clean sheet against Arsenal. It could happen against Chelsea. Probably won't, but it could happen. And then after that, you go Aït-Nouri to Munoz, and then you've got a defender that you really want.
Yeah. And I guess we just pray. We just pray that Cunha doesn't get suspended as well. Or if he does, it's just 1 game week, and then I can just keep him. I
don't even know if I'd keep him regardless.
I mean, it's Man United and Spurs. I'd happily keep a striker for United and Spurs.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just feel like, yes, this week it probably feels obvious to you. Just go Aït-Nouri to Robinson and bench Cunha. But if you wait until if you imagine a game week 18 team of yours, which has Wood and it has Robinson in there. That feels like a better game week 18 team, even if you don't get perfect for game week 17. And I'd argue it's better.
Well, I mean, looking at this, I'm not that much against just rolling my transfer here.
Really?
Yeah. I think because I could do both the moves for free next week. I'll be playing Rodgers and Mikalenko.
You've got to replace one of Aït-Nouri and Cunha this week. You have to.
Yeah. But if I don't, I could theoretically get Daniel Munoz.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's if you hold off on the Aït-Nouri move, then yeah.
If I hold off on the Cunha move, I could wait a little bit, maybe make the move for an Isak.
But like on balance, so if you went Cunha to Wood this week, that means you wouldn't have to play Rodgers, and then arguably after that, Wood is a better pick than Cunha anyway. So it's like gain.
Yeah, that's one to think about. It's a good shout. It's a good shout. Okay, let's go on to your team.
Cool. Yeah, good week for me. Good week. Another green arrow. Up now to 234k with 63 points and whatever Kirkes gets. Don't know what that'll be. Usually a 2-pointer with these kind of cheap defenders, but you never know. You never know.
65 point for the game week. You'd still be happy.
I would, yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, I'm secretly praying he pushes me into the top 200k, but I'm not that confident. But regardless, Hall really carried my team, if I'm totally honest.
Crazy, isn't it?
Hall carried my team. 15 points is crazy. Without that, if I played Aït-Nouri instead of Hall, and people would, by the way, a lot of people told me to do that. I think you were one of them.
I did tell you. I told you to play Hall over one. Sorry, over one of Hall and Kirkes.
Yeah,
but I did say arguably both.
Yeah, no, and a lot of people said play Aït-Nouri instead of Kirkes. A lot of people said play him again at Hall, but a lot of people said, "Nah, you're spot on the way you are." I think it's one of those ones where I think you have to accept your luck, because I did prefer Hall to Aït-Nouri. I think I was pretty clear about that. But there was a universe in which I would play Aït-Nouri ahead of Hall, and in that universe I would be 17 points down, which is a huge swing. So I have to consider myself at least slightly fortunate for that decision. I mean, that swing is outrageous.
Yeah, it's a mean red arrow as well.
Yeah. I'm cooked without those points, because the rest of my team actually didn't do crazy well. Palmer blanked, Saka blanked, Verbruggen in goal blanked, João Pedro blanked, Isak and Jackson, fair enough, they clutched it up. Enzo nice with the assist, as with Salah, and who knows what Kirkes will get. But yeah, one Arsenal defense is not the one. I need to do something about that on the next page.
Let's see what we've got.
So this is my team right now. We've got Verbruggen in goal, Gabriel, Hall and Kirkes in defence. Kirkes playing against Manchester United. I'm not super keen about that. Palmer, Salah, Saka, Enzo as my midfield, and Isak, Jackson, João Pedro up front. I've benched Rodgers, benched Digne, and Aït-Nouri is on my bench, and he is suspended, so I can't play him anyway. The issue for me is Verbruggen. I just regret having him in my team. I got to do something about that.
You got 2 million in the bank.
I got 2.2 million in
Why you got so much in the bank?
Because last week I downgraded Bruno Fernandes to Enzo Fernandes in order to make the Cunha to Isak upgrade. But I've still got 2 free transfers, so we can maybe do something with that. But I think I have 2 options. I think the only thing I do this week is buy an Arsenal defender or goalkeeper. That is the only option for me. I can either do Aït-Nouri to Timber and then do like a rotation between Hall and Kirkes. But the thing is, I want to buy Munoz. I think if I just hold off one more week and get a defender I really love, which is Munoz. I love him as a pick. I really do. I had him in Gameweek 1. I really do enjoy him as an FPL pick.
Is it because you have the same name?
Yes. Yes. There are very few Daniels in the world of football. It's not a very popular name in football. Daniel Sturridge was the last big one I can think of.
Whoa.
Yeah. So Dan Munoz, I think I want to get him next week, and it would be for Aït-Nouri.
But how many free transfers do you have?
2 right now.
Why don't you just do Munoz or wait for Munoz and just get Raya in this week?
I think that's what I'm leaning to at the moment. I think the sensible thing to do would probably be Aït-Nouri to Timber.
I don't think that's the sensible thing to do. I think the sensible thing to do is the Raya move.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because Timber is not as nailed as Raya.
No.
And you definitely still want Munoz.
Well,
the only other option would then be you get you get Timber now, and then you replace Kirkes with Munoz, but you'd keep Verbruggen.
I don't want to keep Verbruggen, man. I either buy Raya for Verbruggen. This is so hard to say. What Dutch people? Why can't you just have English names? Bart, fine with Bart. Bart's fine. Verbruggen. Bart.
Oh, is Bart his first name?
Yeah.
Oh,
great first name.
I thought you were making it. Oh,
No. What's an English surname beginning with V?
V.
Yeah.
Vicky.
Vicky.
Yeah.
What Donny do you know with Vicky as a surname?
Just quite a few.
Name one.
Jackson Vicky.
Jackson Vicky. Who's Jackson Vicky?
Friend of mine.
Yeah?
Very good friend of mine.
You're a liar.
Yeah, I am.
So Bart Vicky, he's going. Bart Vicky is either going this week for Raya or he's going next week for Alisson. Alisson's 0.2 cheaper.
Ew, no.
No?
No, don't do that.
Not liking that one?
Don't do that. Alisson's cheaper than Raya, damn.
Yeah.
But nah.
I don't know. I got good team value. I think I'm fine with it. To get a Liverpool asset ready for a double game week in some unspecified. I can't speak today. Unspecified double game week in the future.
You're gonna want 3 players for Liverpool's double game week.
Yeah. I think I would want one to be Alisson.
I think you'd want one of them to be Jota, one of them to be
Jota
Salah.
in a double game week.
Yes.
Playing with fire there.
It can't be.
In 2 games in 1 week.
Jota was nailed.
Not for
before he got
midweek
injured.
and weekend though.
But he was nailed. You're gonna want Trent. You're gonna want Salah, and you're gonna want Jota, or you're gonna want some other combination. But I think you're gonna look at it and see Alisson and think.
So kind of keep your options open.
Yeah,
a little there.
I'm not a fan of the Alisson thing.
And you know what? It would help keep my options open a little more because I would only have one premium defender in that structure, which would be Gabriel, which would leave the option open to go for a Van Dijk or a Trent later down the line if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would afford that, but it might be a little tricky.
You'd have to downgrade one of Jackson or Isak.
Yeah, and it would probably be Jackson to go. But I'm open to selling Jackson at some point in the future if a cheap forward emerges. Or, if Jackson gets a yellow card. Something like that.
For 1 game. Yeah. Fair enough.
I'll go for it. But it keeps my options open. So yeah, I think my transfer will be Verbruggen to Raya.
Okay. I would support that transfer.
Good.
I think it's a great transfer. And basically just start Kirkers, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm not expecting too much from him, but you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Alas.
What?
Great podcast.
Award-winning. The award-winning Stick to FPL podcast. Guys, if you did enjoy this one, please do make sure you drop a like on the video. We would massively appreciate that. And anything I said earlier about not liking people in the comment section,
they've left already.
They've gone. I would like to formally apologise. Just let you guys know that was a joke, and I actually do really, really, genuinely do really appreciate the guys like commenting and supporting the channel. You guys are genuinely legends who have been supporting us for this time.
Why don't we go and get it assumed that was edited out?
Well, it's not going to be edited out. I don't like to be filtered.
Okay, you own your bad takes.
Yeah,
Fair
but
enough.
no, I don't own my. I have a lot of bad takes.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
if
I take back what I said about the Spanish. So
the 3 Spanish people listening to this will be very grateful you said that.
Yeah. Lo siento, mi amigos, muchachos.
There we go.
Hablamos mucho.
I don't know what any of that means.
I said, I'm sorry, my friends, boys, we speak a lot.
We do.
I just said random words towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Alas, guys, it's been a brilliant show.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye-bye.